evening and welcome to a special episode of the Vigilate Dialogue, where we've kicked off a series of panel discussions, or I should say a series of dialogues, talking about stopping the violence in the Virgin Islands from the perspective of us understanding, let's say having a conversation to understand what the problem is and getting to the root of it so we could come up with effective solutions. Because, you know, a lot of times we talk about problems and we never get to that point. So we always come back a year later and talking about the same problem. So to help us to do that, I have on with me my friends, Sonniel Pickering and Aaron Parillon. We've already had our first dialogue. And this one come with the conversation. He dropped the bomb at the end of the last one. So we had to bring back a part two and continue the conversation now, as far as we ended off talking about the lack of recognition that we give to our own. You know, like we disenfranchise ourselves. We ain't in another man's country being disenfranchised. We in our own country. And we see areas like athletics, you know, sports, so not just athletics, but all the sports. And in the arts in terms of entertainment. Because I always have to kind of argue with people sometimes to understand. Entertainment is an industry, you know?
Very much.
In any and every country. Entertainment is an industry. So whether it's a DJ, it's a band, it's a singer, that is somebody's career if they so choose to. And we need to be able to give it the recognition that's due to it. Because again, we buy into the American performers, we buy into every other country's performers, but somehow we don't galvanize and support behind of our own in the way that we should. So we gonna hand it back to him, or you gonna pick up now from where he leave off?
I need that passion.
But I can understand completely where he's coming from, because even as a professional, right, having worked on the People's Hospital project, you know, one of the biggest lessons I walk off out of that job with is the fact that ain't nobody got nothing on us. No, maybe 20 years ago, you know, you'll be struggling to say, well, how are we going to create this $30 million? At the end of the day, it roughly probably work out to be $50 million project in terms of building a medical facility, fitting it out, staffing it, and bringing it up. And it's our owners who do that with assistance from outside. Because again, we talk about the skill sets that we need to be intentionally producing out of our school system. So that these are the engineers, the mechanics, you know, that are going to be able to work on that level of expertise and eventually export it.
It's gonna happen.
Because it's something where, again, we have to look beyond just saying we're doing this, again, for just hair. But that we get to that level, just like how we import in labor. We need to export our labor to go overseas and work on other projects or get involved in other job opportunities that could be afforded to us, you know? So yeah, we ended talking about with sports as one of those examples where, again, we don't get enough recognition. And it's like we were saying during the break, Karen had to be breaking local records before he got to the international stage.
Yes, he had to.
But, you know, there wasn't much to do about it. You know, and that, what we talking now on up to? Like, I love our people. Because a lot of times we have this crab in the barrel mentality that we ain't trying on the table yet. So let's try it out now. This crab in the barrel mentality where we can't see somebody else doing well and have a good feeling about it. We always have some criticism to come with.
I'm glad you talk about the crab in the barrel mentality, because I had this conversation with somebody last week on the way to work. We here in the BVA, we have that crab in the barrel mentality. And then we get upset when others capitalize.
They join in
on the doors that were left open that we stay here fighting for. You understand? Before we hold each other hand and walk through one behind the other and capitalize on the avenues and the things that we have here that we could foster and make our own and grow and develop and mature into what the BVI can offer. When you sit and you analyze everything that we have here in the Virgin Islands, what can we offer? We talk a lot about standing on the international stage and standing toe to toe internationally with other big nations. yes, we talk about that primarily when we talk about financial services. But it should go beyond financial services when it comes to developing yourself to stand toe-to-toe with the big boys. Why? We have enough here to stand toe-to-toe with the big boys. All we have to do is develop the minds of the young people that already see the vision.
Right.
Young people ain't stupid. A set of realists we have here. They see the needs and they want to fill it, but they need the push and the drive. And they need the support. But we don't give it. We have a lot of things here that we could offer globally to develop nature's little secret. And I keep saying nature's little secret even from part one because the Beaver is a beautiful place. And we ain't much of a secret anymore. Straight up.
Not from since being on a blacklist.
We are not a secret anymore.
Which is one of the bad aspects of being on the international stage.
There we go. There
So
we
well
go.
known.
But I told somebody the other day, it's funny, where it's either you could look at situations like that as opportunity or crisis. Because
I look at it as
I see that opportunity.
when you are a leader, what does that mean? It means the bullseye is on your back.
Right. Always.
So somebody is always going to be behind of you, trying to overtake your position. You have to understand, you have to maintain and continue to improve on that position. Because people behind you ain't just sitting down.
Right.
We're like, oh yes, you know, they're the leader in whatever industries we are with financial services and with tourism. They're gunning for you. They're gunning for you. So as a result of that, we always have to be continually digging deeper and saying, you know, we move past somebody trying to tell us, well, let's become a bird sanctuary and take off all the people. Can you imagine that? You imagine somebody actually watched the video, was like at one point, we're like, well, you know, you got 3 options. Amalgamate them to the U.S. Virgin Islands. I see this is where you don't know your history, you know, because then you understand what you're fighting for. Amalgamate to the U.S. Virgin Islands, which means they would have sell us off. Pick everybody up, turn it into a bird sanctuary. I don't know where we'd have gone. That's the only part I didn't get out of the report. I figure it might have been England. Or encourage foreign direct investment to boost tourism, because that's what you're seeing as, you know, the economic potential for the country. Sell the environment, because everybody want someplace to vacation. So let's do that. And that's how this thing was born. So when you understand that, okay, we went from tourism now to financial services, you know, we saw the opportunity, we went after it, and we built ourselves up within that particular area. Then it has, like you're saying, it has to go across the board. So whether it's entertainment, you know, it's engineering, it's whatever industry we want to develop for our future. Let's focus on being number one and stop trying. It's like all the focus and everything is always on one thing. When for me that's a scary thought, because you're putting all the eggs in one basket, and Granny said don't do that. So if Granny said don't do that, why are we still doing it?
I think we're doing because we just lazy sometimes, man. We lazy to creating, to trying to foster new ideas, you know. And then the first thing we do, we always look for the easy way out. That's the biggest problem right there. And we look for the easy way out. So the all easiest way out of everything. Man, let's bring somebody from overseas to tell us how to run a country, how to study this, how the case may be. Instead of, okay, you know, let's put together a fleet of young people. Let's have them trained. We might be a couple of years behind, but you know for sure when they come back, that's throttle going forward. That's your own young people pushing you forward. You know, I have a problem with us trying to tell young people the first thing they have to do out of school is go back to school, back to college. I got a problem with that. I got a problem. Because I have good conversations with like Ashley. One of the most successful persons in the BPI. You think Ashley wastes his time in school? No. He backed up on a skill. Because you know we saw a custom of painting this prideful picture with having a degree, that we lose the essence of going to school. Everybody love the degree, like a master's degree in this and so forth. But You can't lick a 1 degree. You know what I'm saying? It's more about the execution than the degree itself. The theory is just a part of it, you know. You know what I'm saying? But then it's like, I think we in this country here, we have a country that is mainly about skill. We have enough people involved in the workforce that can sit behind desks and so forth. We don't have enough out here getting greasy and getting dirty and so forth. We don't have those types.
So the carpenter, we import in.
We
the
import
mason,
everything.
We import in. The electrician.
You see where I'm coming from now?
We import it. We can spell it out because some people ain't understand
Yeah.
it. The plumber.
Everything we import in.
Well, look
because we are not telling our young men. And the latest discussion what jumped up the other day was about captains and crews. And again, what are we intentionally producing? Because again, you know the shameful part about them kind of things. So it's we who do them things.
Yes.
Our
We
grandfather
started.
and our great grandfather them were the mason, the plumber, the
Thank you.
electrician. Without certification, we get a little thing bill. So it's even better now you could go and go get your certificate or your degree. But it's about there's no shame because this is where the problem is, you know. It became a stigma that you're less of a person, or it's kind of like saying, well, you couldn't make it in academia, so you're gonna go be a plumber. As if somehow when Clarence Thomas was a plumber, we had need plumbers, but then since then we need plumbers no more. Because at some point, Mr. Thomas is going to get old and retire, and I need a fresh set coming through the system to become the plumbers, the electricians, build the houses, the contractors, you name it. And we didn't have, somehow we lost sight of that, I think, when financial services hit the ground.
We see.
Because everybody somehow was going to become an office employee. But then when the AC broke down, you ain't got nobody to go fix it.
So you gotta bring in a man from Puerto Rico.
We have to bring in a man
right?
from Puerto Rico. Listen, Puerto Rico, as much trouble as they in now, right? They make some money off us. You know?
No, but you see, but that's how you build your economy. The greatest resource of any country
People.
is the human resource.
Of course,
aspect of it.
of course, the people.
We have financial services and tourism here. Two systems that we have in place that are our economic pillars. What is going to propel those pillars, or who is going to propel those pillars? Not the people.
It's the people.
Your human resource is your greatest resource in any country and any nation. Your human resource, so you must develop your own.
Right.
In every aspect.
Right.
Financial services and tourism ain't gonna do it for us anymore. And anybody that come and tell me otherwise,
They're dreaming.
you're in a dream.
Yeah. Because the vision has
You're
to be
stuck.
just like how financial services didn't exist 40 years ago. 40 years from now, something else will exist in its place.
There we go.
And that's what we have to be building towards.
Right.
You understand? And that's the kind of mindset shift we have to help people to start to understand in terms of the current leadership and the current generation, as well as those coming. Be like, you don't necessarily need to just think in terms of, well, you know, I got to study something in financial services or study something in tourism. You need to figure out what's going to be on the scene in the next 20, 30 years.
And that's because we just, like, why the reason why people run into study finance, because that's what we're telling them.
But
this is where the money is.
This is the problem.
Sir,
I tell you, all the
the
light.
money is
The
with, because
technical
when you
skills
have to be working within a system, right? And you work overtime and you don't get your overtime check, your ball, you're gonna cry. You're gonna make noise. But when you know you finish working, you work on a job here in a house. That little plumbing man call you, hey, I need a little work here so done. That's your overtime check right there. Your overtime and a half and a half and a half.
Yep.
And that's yours. That is yours. You know what I'm saying? Nobody has to create a salary for you with that. We need to invest. This country, I keep saying this country need to invest in other means of technical skills, because at some point we're going to have a serious job freeze. Serious job freeze within government itself, because we don't have enough offices to open. We don't have the economy for it. The population
the jobs
for it.
aren't there
The
to match.
infrastructure for it.
Yeah.
But look at plumbing. Even carpentry, every time I drive by G-Nibs, carpentry in Seacoast Bay. There's wood in there, greening. A saw, always busy. And I don't want to knock who's walking there, right? But it kills me to know that not one of my young Seacoast Bay brothers involved in that aspect, in that field right there.
Or Virgin Island, not period.
Yeah. You know what I'm saying? But I'm going to speak for Seacoast Bay, that's right.
Of course.
You know what I'm saying?
Hard poetry.
So, you know what I'm saying? It kills me
to
know not one of my young brothers in there, so now picking up on a technical skill, because at some point,
he gonna
Mr.
retire.
Nib's going to pass on. I mean, Mr. Nib's going to retire, but he has to pass on. And if nobody else within the community is picking up that skill, it going elsewhere.
Because somebody going to see it as an economic opportunity and come in and start the carpentry business.
You don't understand that carpentry is money.
They understand.
A dressing table is heavy and it's expensive. Bed frames are heavy and they're expensive. You know what I'm saying?
A whole bedroom set.
A whole, kitchen, even designing a kitchen itself. Cabinets have to be built. Computers don't build cabinets, you know. Computers don't design them. It takes a man to design it on a computer. People don't understand these things.
Somebody have to make it.
You see, and it saddens my heart. It puts me to ponder. As you said, none of your young brothers in there,
man. Even
doing
the sisters,
that carpentry.
I want to see the sisters doing carpentry.
Sisters, same way. But look at this.
That's hot.
Your lights go off and you call a man to come and put on your electricity. Who come in? An electrician come in. Where you from?
God knows.
Not the Virgin Islands. A mechanic. You have a problem with your vehicle and you carry it into the shop. Who going up under your hood? A Philippine. Or a man from the other islands. Your fridge go bad. Who come in to blow out your fridge?
Asmarine.
And if it's not Asmarine, if it's not one of them George boys, who it is?
Somebody else.
Somebody else, not a Virgin Islander.
Right.
You understand?
And we don't mistake a pin in here just to make sure everybody understand what we're talking about. Because we apologize too much when we start to talk about the interests of Virgin Islanders over another country, because we don't want to offend.
Right.
But again, we come here to do real talk.
Right.
And it's something where, again, we want to see, even in the HOA, real talk.
Right.
Because when it comes to the country, who are we building it for?
Thank you.
Am I building it for the rest of the world? Or am I building it for my own? At the end of the day, your own come first.
Right.
So you have to be seen as I should say, they're responsible for making sure your own, they're able to compete. Because you know when it is that thing opened my eyes? When it is I realized government advertising jobs online and people from 20 hours out in a different time zone applying.
Yo.
So you, when you hear sitting down, take it for granted your government job is secure because it's a closed marketplace. It is not. Again, this is one of the consequences for being on the world stage toe-to-toe. Because now, my high school graduate going toe-to-toe with a Filipino, with somebody from Europe. Because regional, it ain't about regional. Before we used to worry about just regional, but now it ain't regional. The thing international.
Yep.
So that's why I have to have international standards in my high school. I can't be in there playing around with my grading system. But that's one of my pet peeves. I know what we do at children with that grading system. We need to fix it. Because you now lower the standards for them to pass failing. And they can't function on a job here, much less to say, well, if I do want to send them off to get some experience elsewhere, they have to be up to par.
Right.
You understand what I'm saying? And this is where now again, so in government now when you think you could have just come in there and do any old thing and get a job, somebody else walks in through the door from another country more qualified than you because the investment wasn't made into you. You know, gone are the days where it is you're getting a job because of who you know. It's still happening, but it can't happen as prevalent as before because you need qualified people to do certain things.
Right.
You understand? So again, if Asmarine is a locally owned business, but if he can't find the skill set, hey, homegrown, as we're saying, we gotta start a campaign to do that. Homegrown. It's about having a homegrown mechanics, carpenters, plumbers, AC, mechanical engineers, structural engineers. You know, we could list them out, you know.
I'll give you a good scenario. I'll give you a good scenario about that, right? When I went in high school, and I hope he don't get vexed when I call his name, right? I had a good friend, Devane Fay. Devane Fay had the capabilities of being in 4 arts, 4 science, 4 infotech, all the high classes. Devane wanted to do
Mechanics.
Yeah. You know? Devane was a level 40 student doing a 41 course, 51, 41.
That's the problem right
When Devane graduated, if I'm correct, Devane did a 41 course, but all 40 electives. You understand that? This man education, his level of education was high, but it's a skill he wanted to obtain when he came out of school. To this day, Devane is a mechanic for Public Works Department. Devane could have been working FSC. Devane could have been working Premier's office. Devane works at Public Works as a mechanic, a young homegrown mechanic. Any problem I get in my vehicle, Devane I call in. Many people.
Give me a number.
I won't give it up, but you know, and that just goes to show is what it is we model and we encourage like VIST. People look at VIST and they try to say I wouldn't send my child there. Why?
Stigma.
Why? Some of the best teachers up there. They have an institution up there that teaches skills.
True.
Not everyone is fit for an office. Come on, some of us have some bad behaviors. Some of them you can't change overnight. But put them in a position where they are able to use their strengths. You may be a damn good barber, but you're working in a job where you're not happy. You feel you're underqualified because of standards within the office itself.
Where you can meet.
Put an animal in its place.
You gotta put in a habitat.
Yes,
That's
its
it.
habitat.
So it can thrive.
Right.
No, we ain't calling nobody an animal.
No, I just use you know me. I like to use different scenarios.
But it's the same thing where you put a square peg in a round hole.
Right.
You got nothing but friction. So when we don't allow our children to go towards their natural tendencies, we frustrate them out of the school system.
Right.
In terms of saying they have to perform academically based on things. Because when you're talking about this 40 and 41 and 50 and 51 story, that thing needs to go. That's another thing I don't understand. Because we've created a stigma. I remember when we graduated in 93, again, them boys in electronics and mechanics, them were just as bright as us coming out in 4 science because they're getting their A's and B's in their area.
Right.
But we have taken it upon ourselves now to basically demote them and say that you can't get a grade 1 at a 41 and a 51 level. What was that? What kind of message are we telling these children? So now you don't want to go out into society as a plumber because you're going to be viewed differently because you feel you have less value than a lawyer.
Right.
But when a lawyer toilet back up,
Okay.
you understand? And those are the messages that we have been putting out there and sending to our young people, and then we wonder why. So instead of them not being able to get a legitimate job, they start selling drugs on the block.
Right. No, I look at that. You see that right there?
You see?
And we doing them then we go take them up and come up balsam and feed them 3 meals a day. So about time to come back now to be dysfunction in the society. I just saying, because I'm making sure we tying this all back in. So people don't think we are here just talking for talking's sake. Because this is where, when you go around and talk about where is the criminal behavior coming from, where is the violence coming from? It's coming from someplace. And it's us not doing those things. All right.
Listen.
Hand the mic.
Listen. I don't know if Aaron going here. If he going here, he can give me a little high five when I'm done. You see that thing there, and I'm selling weed? I'm selling drugs? We have some of the best farmers.
Thank you. Can I get up?
Some of the best marketers. And some of the best salespersons within that right there.
Go further. chemists.
You hear what I tell you?
Environmentalists, because guess what? These guys study the weather. They know when to grow,
yeah.
when to plant, when to reap. These guys study these things, but you see, we look at everything from a negative from the negative aspect of it. He's selling marijuana. No different to you go by a store and that man selling cigarette. Cigarette is a drug. It has on the back of it. It's going to kill you. It's going to kill you. So now, why do we decriminalize cigarettes? But we place the criminal, we place those who have marijuana now as the largest criminals in the world. Don't talk. You telling your child don't talk to this individual because they smoke weed. But then your boss smokes cigarette up in your face all the time with his breath. What's the difference? Yeah. There's no difference in between.
A double standard.
There's no difference. You know what I'm saying?
We see.
And again, going back to we hammer home this point about farming. Because again, this is part of who he is. Part and parcel, we've been growing things now from very land.
And we got a greenhouse.
So, why is it we don't have agricultural sciences in our high school?
That's another thing.
Because the stigma was created that for you to want to go be a farmer, you know, that ain't a legitimate career choice.
Nonsense.
So, you know, we pushing you to go do something you're really interested in. So you're going, you just pick the class them, get your diploma. But again, you're lost because we put them in that habitat where it is they could thrive and become good at what it is they've already have. Some of them, they just naturally gifted for the thing.
So Shaina, what you indirectly saying right there? We have not opened enough opportunities for young people around here to thrive. No. Not at all.
Our school system is so colonial and archaic. We start to really crux it because here we're telling you this thing. I help my nieces and nephews with homework and my godson, and when I sit down and I watch what they're teaching in tourism class and financial services, it ain't gonna fix the problem of us not having general managers or managing directors in trust companies. Because you really ain't opening their mind to the crux of what this industry is all about. This thing is not a job. It is a career and industry we have to teach them. And you're teaching it from high school, not in college.
Right.
You see? So when we look at where we have been moving over the last 20 years, the offerings in the school system cannot be the same when they were there. I'm just saying.
I agree.
You see what I'm saying?
I agree.
It has to change. And don't rename them just for renaming sake. Because when you get onto it, it's the same subject.
But the owners.
You see what I'm saying? So if you want to really get serious about financial services, then you need to have a whole track inside of your business classes or whatever we used to do, like say for accounts. It has to change to more than just doing bookkeeping and stenography. You know what I'm saying? You could start to teach legal secretary work from in high school.
You see, but that goes now. And we can hit the button. Government. That falls right under government. Because as a government, your duty is not to country, but to people. Because the people make up the country.
Right.
Cause your people to prosper, your country will prosper. I think we have it backwards. We have it backwards.
Very much.
We want to develop the country,
but not the people.
But forsake the people.
But what does that mean? We really think about it. That's the best political rhetoric out there. What is the country?
The people.
The country and the tree and the sea and the road and all this physical stuff that don't mean nothing and people ain't have access and able to prosper from it.
No, we all know Donald Trump say a lot of loose things, right? I won't call him any names. But one key thing from him that stood out to me when he spoke about, during his campaign, he spoke about empowering Americans. A lot of people went over that fact because he spoke a lot of rigorous nonsense.
Yeah.
But he spoke mainly about empowering Americans. When companies like Chrysler and so forth in fall, I think we're looking to invest in Mexico. He said, okay, you do that, open your shops in Mexico, but I guarantee you, I'm gonna raise your taxes in America. You know what they did? invested in opening factories in Detroit. You know what I'm saying? Invest in your country. Invest in your people. You know what I'm saying? All thing is, like, I go back to what I was saying, Shaina, we too lazy sometimes in certain ideas, opening opportunities for people. We quick to know, okay, I know I don't really got to hot up my head with sending Sanya to school to learn this and all that. Let me send for a man who I already know about it, bring him in to do it, and what the case will be, right? And I don't think they're aware of the fact that what sort of harm it does to the young men and young women in this country here who may want to pursue such employment. Because what you're telling me now, you're not willing to give me a chance and invest in me. You're gonna quicker bypass me, look over me now, and get somebody else to come in and just do it for me.
Yeah.
That is what you see, and then we like to say all young people are lazy. But there are, if we open opportunities for all young people in this country here to flourish, to even you know, to do things that they are interested into, then we will have a greater outlook of how all young people flourish around here, you know.
Yeah.
But we don't have it. The only thing we have is sitting behind a desk, being blinded by a laptop and getting back pains. You sitting down, that is one of the main back issues people encounter, you know. Sitting and laying down sleeping. The reason we have legs are to walk, to move about. You get proper blood flow. This thing was sitting down and eating and all them stuff. Don't mind about you stand and eat. You let your blood flow. Your blood have to flow. But people need to be on the legs more often. We need people running. We need people on the go.
On the move.
Need people on the move. This thing was sitting down behind a desk all the time. And
No, but you see, that's what
killing us, man.
That's what
blood.
That is the culture that we have now instilled in our children.
Yeah.
When you leave school, you got to sit down in an office with a shirt and a tie to be successful.
Nonsense.
If you ain't got on a jacket, a shirt and a tie with a HID key card, opening an office door, kick. You understand?
You ain't in nothing.
You ain't in nothing.
That's nonsense, man. All I'm doing is giving you
a
crazy bill. You can't save a dime because you got to be up now.
No.
Buying these expensive.
I can use myself as an example. I got a key card. Yeah. I might wear a shirt and a tie every now and again, depending on the meeting. And my shirt might be a long sleeve and I tuck in a black pants with some shoes. But I didn't start there.
Right.
I went on the road on top of poles, running cables, and installing wires, sweating. And a couple of people watch me and say, Sonniel, what are you doing there? You're a bright boy. Don't about me. I love what I do.
Right.
And when the time is right, I'll get where I need to go. But I build it myself. And I doing what I have to do to build here. Because here what? If you need a wire run, don't call Jack from St. Thomas. Call me. I'll run it for you. That money staying here. When you call Jack then walk, get a check, Jack got back St. Thomas. Money just leave your country and circulating here. When you see them buy down work 15 and 38, Western Union money gram full. That money gone back. If you ask any of them now, I done got a house back home. You understand?
Or building one.
Or they building a house back home. You understand? Developing where they from. And then when they're done, when they feel they make enough out of us, they're going back home to sit in a house that we help them build.
Right.
And that is real talk.
You understand? It might sound hard. And it might sound harsh.
But that's a reality.
And to them, it might sound like we're being vindictive towards them trying to earn a living. But understand that to the detriment of all people,
we
you understand? We're doing this.
Right.
Yeah.
To the detriment of our people. And when I say our, I mean Virgin Islanders, born and raised. When you could sit down and tell me more than 60% of your labor force is expats, you have a problem.
Big problem. You got a big problem.
You have a serious issue.
You know the invisible elephant in the room too with this whole thing is youth unemployment. We haven't taken the time yet to really assess the reality of that situation.
Right.
Because again, it ain't just about saying people here don't have jobs. It's different reasons why people don't have jobs. Some young people, they drop out of school. Some of them were expelled out of school. And there wasn't a catchment, I would say, in terms of how do you keep them still viable when it comes to the academic side and making sure that whatever needs to be corrected is corrected. It's kind of like saying we cross them off the list,
Right.
and think they were going to disappear someplace. You check? And then they went about the ghetto. I hear the ghetto now is a full-fledged society, no, but we're going to have that as a different show. We got society inside our society, and we paying attention to what's going on. And let me finish the point. So this is where now, again, we producing, well, how else to put it? We producing the criminals or the criminal behavior. We don't want to acknowledge it. We talk about that when we sending, the little deviant to school. But at home now, somehow in our mind, we still trying to pretend like he as bad as the teacher that making it so.
Right. Knowing yourself.
But if you don't acknowledge, the first thing they tell you, you can't solve a problem until you acknowledge you have one.
Of course. You have to be
And this is where it is now. We have gotten off track as a society because you cross them off the list, you throw them out of school, you drop out of school. We look back to see what's going on. And as a result of that, so I having hundreds graduating from high school and college every year. But we still have 60% of our workforce being imported for the jobs that we have.
You know
what I'm saying? That alone tells me somebody sleeping at the wheel. Because it's like saying we have ignored this. Again, this thing ain't happened overnight, but it has happened over time.
Shaina.
So we have completely ignored
Let me get
it.
closer now.
Okay? And then want to know why Balsam got full. Some of them, and where we there, right, I'm going to throw another thing on the table for you, that one. So we're here talking about, again, the diversity in our community. So some of these are people that actually coming into the country with a deviant behavior. And we're here putting them up and feeding them 3 times a day until whenever, For my thing, once you don't charge, you don't get sentence, I'm going to sentence you back home.
Let your country
You understand?
deal with you.
Let them deal with you. But you can't come back here. This thing I'm putting it, when that judge hand down that sentence, as far as I'm concerned, the sentence need to be deportation in straight before Elon. Pass Balsam. Straight before Elon put them on a plane.
That used to be a thing. It used to
I think that's something we used to practice.
We used to, because speaking with Mr. Winter, Billy, Billy tell me straight up, you get charged with anything here and you from here, you're working immigration them time. They just stand up and say waiting. They just stand up and say waiting.
And the gavel hit. Bam.
And that door open. Let's go. First flight out the late. One going on with you too. One straight
Make sure
out.
you get off.
Make sure you reach down safe. Back home. You know what I'm saying? And just to touch on the main thing, the one word that stands out there, opportunity. All Lawmakers, now pretty listening. All Lawmakers need to come together. Both parties. I don't want to hear this rigorous nonsense anymore, but this fighting back and forth. Because at the end of the day, 13 people are elected.
And
that
responsible
means
for the business of the
13
country.
people have to hold one head. It don't matter what side of the party. This egotistical manner we deal with our country is what killing us also,
Yeah.
Because what you're doing now, I'm probably one of the few who could say, I have no animosity towards no political side. None whatsoever. That's just me. I go speak on a behalf.
Okay, you understand politics?
Right. I understand politics, I understand people. So, where I would, in certain conversations, I would never engage in. One of them being political sides. Trying to create an animosity or a separation. I lived in a district where that has happened too long.
Over and over.
Over and over. And it reached a point where you won't support Shaina's business because Shaina supported this other person. But you're going to run go town, support another man's business who you don't know if he supported
Your people.
Who? You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Nonsense. Now going back to opportunity now. Coming out of high school, being a high school dropout, or being expelled from high school, graduating from high school. Every year we have hundreds of people graduating from high school. Not everyone is fit for the office job. No, not everyone is going to be fit to be an electrician, whatever the case may be. But if we open our eyes to things within the world right now, different money-making avenues, different industries right now, that could probably fuel something within our 1 or 2 persons. What you do, you open a gate, for creative thinkers. You know, skilled persons in different areas. We're speaking about those that fix the AAC vents and so forth, right? But what about those who make those? You understand where I'm coming from? I think Trinidad built cars, right?
Yeah.
What about those, instead of those who could bag the sugar? What about those who make the sugar? Those are things I'm looking at now. You know? Cans. We got import cans. What about producing cans? What about producing glass, making glass, and all those different things? Create things where now we have a product now to export. We don't create exporting products, even within our own people. We don't create products to export. You get where I'm coming from now?
Yeah.
We do not create products to export.
Because somehow we think we're too small. So we just can't do it.
That's our problem right there. We always think we're too small. We need to stop the nonsense. But we ain't too small now to import people. We ain't seen our country too small to bring in more people.
Yeah.
You get where I'm coming from now?
I want to as Shaina say, let me stick a pin. Let me stick a pin in there. You say some of them ain't fit for the office. Let's dial it down a little bit. Some of them drop out because they ain't fit for the classroom.
No,
Some of them
Stop right there. Stop right there. I'll stick a pin in right there. When we stick a pin straight. So we have a voodoo down, but then we do. Look, what I always tell the young people, not everybody fit for a class. Not everybody ain't fit to get A. There's no way if all of us got A's, then who we gonna work on to bring up? You know what I'm saying? But
And that's just life.
that's life itself. Everybody fit to get A. If you can maintain somewhat of a grade, if you're good in a certain area, maintaining. That's our main problem we have in this country, Sonniel. Maintenance. That's another thing to maintenance.
Another industry,
Maintenance. Maintenance in this country. We do not maintain things. We start, we produce, we drop. Maintenance. Look at majority of all buildings around this country here. Many things that have started off wonderful.
We spend millions.
Millions of dollars. Maintenance. Maintenance. You know what I'm saying? Maintenance. That is our main problem right there. Maintenance. And you know who noticing it? The young people who have to be in and out of these facilities, noticing the lack of maintenance, you know. So they're the ones now who could come and tell you, by the bathroom in here nasty and so forth and this, you know what I'm saying? This breaking down in the building. You built it. How often are you inside of it? But the people them now who you build it for are inside of it. They see what is going on.
Yeah.
They see everything that's going wrong with it.
And again, what kind of message is that sending?
One message. And there's a song, a well-known songwriter here in the Virgin Islands that goes like this. Millions and millions and millions and more. Millions and millions are going out the door. You understand? And you know the writer.
Who they?
Brother Dog himself.
Oh, the dog.
The
Yes.
dog.
Yes.
Millions and millions and millions and more. Because everything that we do, we don't upkeep, as you say, we don't maintain. And I don't want us to sidetrack too much off of the youth unemployment issue, because that's a serious problem.
It's serious. It's
You
serious,
understand?
man.
And this is something that's not just local or regional, it's international.
Yeah, this is a worldwide
You
thing.
understand?
And
But
But just before you get off of that, just to show how serious it is. Because again, we take these things for granted, you know. When Greece had fallen into trouble the other day, you know what it is? Had, I should say, sparked that whole thing? The young people in the community who ain't coming home with degrees and can't find a job, double-digit unemployment in the country. But yet, the politicians them in there spending money like water.
No, we see that.
And you can't find a job. You're gonna went to school, work your hardest, put yourself through some of them, and you gonna come home in your country, no, you can't find a job. So they hit the street. And that's really what started to draw attention to the deficit that this country was operating in.
Right.
You understand? So if we sit down here and play Pilinky boy with this problem here, we're gonna have more, as Margaret Heritage say, you think you see thing yet.
Yeah,
A lot more to come.
It's a serious issue. You understand? I had a couple conversations, and I've been privy enough to have conversations with not just ministers here locally, but ministers from different nationalities, Sri Lanka, Trinidad, Australia, and those kind of places. And it's the same thing. You understand? Youth unemployment is a serious issue everywhere. Now, here's the conundrum. You have those that come back from school who can't get a job in their field of study. You have those that unfortunately dropped out of school because the classroom was not the fit environment. Not that they can learn, but the environment,
The system.
the system that they are in is not conducive to their learning.
Right.
The tools that we provide do not affect their learning. You understand? Some of them can't read. You put a textbook in front of them to teach them the concept, they lost. You show them visuals, they grasp that concept quicker than the man that reading the textbook. You understand? The tools in which we teach cause them to drop out. Then you have those that ain't drop out, but they're little warriors, as you say. A little rambunctious, get a little out of hand. Principal say, you gone. We don't need you in here anymore. You causing conflict for those that can conform to the system that we have here. And then too, the generalized testing. Another problem.
The system.
The system. That's another can of worms. Another can of worms. That generalized testing.
Back to the system.
You understand? The system. So all of these things play a role now into why the youth unemployment is so high. You understand? We providing avenues. Yes, we have the youth employment services, and we have these different things that are supposed to open up avenues for the young people that do not have jobs to gain jobs. You understand? But we don't have anything set up for the young people who don't have skills to gain skills to get the job.
Opportunities.
You understand? So we skip a step to get to getting the job plat. But we forget that you need the skills for the job. And then too, now it's a compound problem, and then too, you want to give them the skills and you stick them in another system that is similar to the system that they couldn't function in the first place.
Quite confusing.
And then you want them to function here when they couldn't function there. And then you say, well, we had tried with he, but he can't function.
It didn't.
It didn't work out.
But
unfortunately,
did we meet his needs?
You ain't touch the man where he is.
No, we went to where he is.
Right.
And at that point, he ain't in the same place where he was from 5 years ago.
Right. And all he is,
we
hungry, you know.
patience to figure this thing out.
None. And he hungry. He hungry for work. He hungry to do what he want to do. He want to be a carpenter so bad. And you put a piece of board in front of this man, he will give you the straightest box you ever seen in your life. You give him the tools and he'll chisel you the finest chair. you ever get in your life study, you sit down on it for, you can hand that down to your children,
that's how you hear it
and it
goes.
lasts.
Yeah.
That little boy would give that to you. But you can take him up and put him in a classroom with a textbook, because this is how you learn how to build a chair. You ain't gonna put him in a workshop and
apprentice.
teach him the skills
Yeah.
to make that chair and to create a living for himself.
I knew it was something I missed.
You understand?
You see that right there? I'm going back to culture, which is one of my greatest passions.
I stand on another conversation
One
at
of
the
my
end of the
greatest
show.
passions. You see culture?
Hi.
I always believe in using your resource, your human resources around here to teach certain things. Me as a teacher, I don't know everything. I can't tell you how to build a house. But I could always invite James in my classroom to do such. See where I'm going with this. I'll learn this intro sometime, I stay on board. I don't know everything about Bivec culture storytelling. I could always invite Mrs. Jenny Wheatley. I don't know everything about the marine industry, but I could always ring a phone call or ring Alex Smith's number for Smith's Ferry. I don't know everything about conservation in fisheries, but it takes me nothing to call Wasasha. You see where I'm going? Use your people in your community to teach these skills, but we don't do that. Now we try to do? We try to chalk and talk everything. Everything we try to chalk and talk. So that using your people. I always believe Culture Day, Culture Week, is supposed to be one of the biggest celebrations in this country.
Territory wide.
But you know what we do with it? We just have it as a day. It isn't really emphasized upon. Because they don't have a big parade with it. Or you don't have a bunch of bands playing and all those different stuff. No. That right there should be, I think that should be more celebrated than August Festival. That Culture Week should be more celebrated in festival, should be more emphasized upon than Christmas around here.
But you, even with what you're talking about there, right? Because this goes back to the point where you talk about recognition, where we don't recognize our own, ourselves, our cultural heritage. Because if we understand what festival is supposed to be about, you see what happens now? We don't only put emancipation on the poster for saying
just so.
Emancipation Festival, which means what? We are celebrating our emancipation.
Right. That's
right?
what it's called.
And not just the emancipation, the fact that we were freed, but all that transpired to get us to where we are now.
Right.
What our forefathers endured, what they did, and giving them recognition.
That's it, key.
Recognizing our forefathers for what they did and what they went through. And that being part of knowing who we are, our identity that we have lost. So some of us just, want to know what the lineup is, figure out when you go in village, think about maybe going parade and supporting anything else that's going on. And you're always having this fight and force whether it's too long, it's too short, one need to cut, because we don't lose priority.
We lost
and
our
guess
sense
what?
of it.
Again, what is the message we're sending to our young people about what Emancipation Festival is? The lineup and the pretty costume on the parade route, and that's it. That's if you decide to stay now. That's a whole other kind of worms there. Because again, we detach ourselves from this thing and let it run amok, and then want to criticize and say, this needs to happen, but this can't happen unless you participate, brother. So if you feel you need to see something different on the parade route, then put a troop in the parade. Get involved in some way, shape, or form, and become part of the change. Because, all this what we're talking about is like, it sounds so simplistic to us, but for some reason, the wider society needs to get on board with it. From the top come down. You understand? Because again, if all people or the cabinet who making the decisions about what is to happen with emancipation decide this thing is going to be 10 days, this is what's going to happen, and the focus has to be around emancipation, celebration of culture and heritage, not in just name only.
Right.
Because we're playing with it. And then you want to know when people come into the society, live amongst us for 20 years, they have a clue. Don't have a clue.
No.
A real clue.
That's another
That's a
cult.
that's that.
But we keep
but we got to
keep it
wind
general.
down now on this one. And I think, you know, we really had some good solid discussion talking points came out. To help people again understand children don't just turn out to be we refer to them as little tongues, or they become addicts or dealers just because that's a choice. Part of it is a choice, but it's what kind of environment now.
Right, it's the environment.
They are a product of the environment.
Indeed.
And based on what we discussed here tonight, it's not a flawless environment, and we have to address. We have to now make different choices to change this environment. The system was handed down to us from the colonial time where it is the UK was in charge of the education system. Now we in charge, we have to decide what's best for ourselves and put the things that need to be put in place. So I'm going to get 30 seconds to wrap up. We're going to have to stick a pin here for real, but we're going to definitely be back on this.
Shaina, I'll be real with you. I think we need a part 3, 4, 5, 10, 20.
Easy. We can come and see for the rest of the year on this.
Yeah, this
honestly,
it has too many avenues to hit on. Man.
All of these things, every last one of them, as detached as they might sound to the viewing audience and the listening audience, everything come together.
Yeah, it's integrated
to create the problems that we have here. Not just the violence, which is a serious issue, but the other issues that we face. Right. We touch the violence because it sticks out like a sore thumb. But you have those little small issues,
right? The little small
that come together to make the big problems, that come together to make the huge deficiencies within the Virgin Islands,
right?
Within this territory, within nature's little secret. I love to say it because it sounds sweet. It's a marketing tool. Come to nature's little secret, everybody, okay? We smile, but we talawa. When you come, you'll understand what I mean. Okay? But all of these things come together to make the small issues great and the great issues huge.
Yeah, man.
You understand?
We need as a
subtlety. The systems and what we've practiced for so many years that we can't seem to fix, and they are fixable.
Everything is fixable.
It's fixable.
Everything
Nothing
is fixable.
was set in stone to say, this is how we're going to do it. Create the framework, create the strategies that will develop your system and propel your people. But we are not fixing the systems that are creating the issues.
There you go.
What we're doing, we're trying to fix the people
instead of fixing the system.
Instead of fixing the system that would propel the people.
Right.
So
because right now, change the...
You're going to change the output. You're going to change the box to change the output.
Yeah.
You want to change what come out, change what go in.
Right.
If it's one thing I could remember when I went to IT class, garbage in,
garbage out.
Garbage out.
Right.
And there's another one that says what you see is what you get. You understand? Blunt, to the point, but accurate in meaning. Change your input. Change the systems that are teaching our young people. Change the system that is shaping the minds. Those systems ain't have nothing to do, ain't have much to do with the physical attributes of that child.
Right.
The mindset.
Change the system that affects the mind of the child. You change the mind, the system that affects the mind, you change the mannerisms of your people. Change the mannerisms of your people, you change the culture of your people. You change the culture of your people, you change the dynamics of your territory. You understand? I sound like I campaigning, but it's not so. You understand me? You change the dynamics of your territory and you propel yourself forward. You want to know how to stand up on the world stage? Change the way you stand.
Change the way you stand, man. And you know, it's just so funny.
I done that.
I was having a conversation with my mom, and you were speaking about people that come here for employment. I look at it this way. When our forefathers left here, they went to seek skills they didn't have. You know, seek skills. And when they went to that country, mainly they went to like Cuba and Santo Domingo. Those people saw a deficiency in our country. So okay, you come in here for my skill. Let me go up there, go help. Let me go up there now to see, you know, what I could do. They came here, several opportunities for them because they had the skill. The opportunities were there for them because they had the skill. You know, their country invested in skill. Some of these countries around the Caribbean invest more in skills than they do in the traditional, yeah. They invest in skills. Because they have a lot of technical colleges. They invest in skills. You know what I'm saying? So that is why we could always hire
the capital diploma.
Yeah, someone from another Caribbean country as a mechanic. We import mechanics. We import engineers, technicians, and all those stuff because those people focus on skills. We need to come out of that. I mean, it comes from what our financial pillars are, which is financial services. You know, where we lean heavily upon for finance, financial services, tourism,
the government revenue,
right? Tourism and so forth. You know what I'm saying? Tourism is another thing. Oh my God, that's another thing. I don't have enough time to discuss. I don't want to discuss it.
How we market.
But our young people, we could also use our young people as tourism pillars. You know what I'm saying? You get them involved in tourism, what it means to be you know, to be a pillar for tourism in your country. You know what I'm saying? But we're not doing these things. We're not doing these things, and I think all lawmakers, I'm gonna go back to that, need to come together. I want any right there. We need to come together as a nation and realize, look, we need to pull one head and not lollygag and be arguing about nonsense back and forth, debating and having medias, these media outlets put out bad implications of us. We need to come together as one, even if we have differences. Look, everybody gonna have differences, you know.
We got more in common than different, you know.
Yeah, we have a lot in common because at the end of the day, majority of us are still having to go by people's hospital to either pay for sicknesses or for both. Whether it's sickness and health, we're going to people's hospital. Be together as one. So at some point, we need to come together and make decisions. Look, we have employment issues. How are we going to tackle it? That's a simple. Everybody come together on a round table. How are we going to tackle our employment issues? How are we going to invest in our young people? Instead of creating these things to make tourists seem as though this place is so Bristol and lavish. And we have some serious issues happening here. And all they doing? Escalating. Escalating. It means ignored. Escalating. It makes no sense. It makes no sense in no sense heavily investing in the police force to purchase all these different things to crack down on crime if we are not cracking down on our people itself.
Sonniel, he's doing it again. He's starting another show at the end of the show.
I'm sorry. But my mind, you see, but the thing is, and that's the thing where, again, right? This conversation could go on for the rest of the year, and that's what I plan to do. But we're going to stick a pin there, because we're really, really, really out of time. But we want to encourage our audience tonight. Check us out on Facebook. The Vigilante Dialogues now, we have our Facebook page. We want to hear your feedback, your thoughts about some of the things that we discussed, and give ideas as far as how we're going to go about fixing these problems and issues that we have, because it ain't for somebody else to do it. Check us out on YouTube. We have a YouTube channel. Go on, subscribe, so you can always stay up to the times with the conversations. And I am your host, Shaina Smith, saying, as always, thank you for tuning in. Let's continue to change the conversation for a better Virgin Islands.